Autobahn, you know.
You take a position.
Well, no. The Middle East is not a football match. It's a massive and bloody tragedy. And, you know, when I was in Jerusalem in 2000 and a Palestinian suicide bomber blew himself up in a pizzeria full of Israeli children, I didn't give equal time to Islamic Jihad and their statement. And when I was at the Sabra Shatila massacre in Beirut, which Israel's Christian militia allies from Lebanon committed the war crimes, I didn't give equal time to the Israelis.
So in those circumstances, a journalist needn't be or stay objective.
No,
anymore.
Objective on the side of those who suffer. If you were reporting the slave trade in the 18th century, would you give equal time to the slave ship captain? No. You would give it your time to the slaves and the survivors, wouldn't you? It's a moral issue. We've got to be moral, not just, 50-50.
Ik ga ermee akkoord. Want meneer Fisk zegt ook dat je de feiten moet respecteren. Natuurlijk moet je dat doen. Ook als je aan de kant van de slaven in de 18e eeuw... of de Israëlische kinderen of de vermoorde Palestijnen staat. Je moet niet met feiten hocus pocus gaan spelen. Dat moet je niet doen. Nooit. Maar voor de rest ben ik het wel met hem eens, ja.
Some of your critics
als je het zo stelt, hè.
Yeah, some of your critics say that you've lived too long in the Middle East.
Look, this is an old game. If you haven't been there long, they say you don't know the situation, you're naive. If you've been there long enough to know what you're writing about, they say you can't see the wood for the trees, you've been there too long. Excuse me, the longer you're in a place, the more you learn.
Why do you stay there in Beirut?
I got a job at one point. I got the offer of being an East European correspondent, and I would have reported the fall of the Berlin Wall and the fall of Yugoslavia. But I did report that anyway because it was the old Ottoman Empire. I suppose because covering the Middle East is a bit like reading a great novel, Tolstoy's War and Peace, Anna Karenina, and you sit up and you say, well, just, it's almost midnight, just one more chapter. And then you say, well, I'll just read the next chapter to see what happens next.
But the never-ending
novel. But before you know it, the dawn is coming between the curtains. You've been reading all night because you want to know what happens next. Yeah. And that's why I stay in the Middle East.
It's a never-ending novel.
That's right, yeah, it'll go beyond my lifetime.
And without happy
But I still
end.
want to know what happens next. It's a great human tragedy, and I cannot draw myself away from seeing what happens next.
You're one of the very few Western journalists to have interviewed.
This man Bin Laden is going to be an albatross around my neck.
Yeah, we just want to know
life.
one thing. Is he still alive?
Yes, he is.
Yes?
Yeah.
How do you know that?
I know it. He's alive. I promise you.
You sent emails to him, or...?
I don't use email, I don't use the internet.
No?
Absolutely not. No, I think that the internet, and the email particularly, is the death of literature and language. Everyone who writes to me has to write real letters, and I write real letters back. But he's alive.
You know.
Is he still dangerous?
I think he's irrelevant.
Irrelevant?
Yeah. Look, Bin Laden, from his point of view, his success is he created Al-Qaeda, which exists. The monster exists. He's as relevant as nuclear scientists if you want to get rid of the bomb. You can arrest all the nuclear scientists in the world, and you can execute them, but you've still got the bomb. It exists. Al-Qaeda exists. It doesn't matter what you do. If Bin Laden falls down a crevasse or has a heart attack or watches too much television, it doesn't make the slightest bit of difference.
Yeah.
He's irrelevant now.
Can Obama be a blessing for the conflict in the Middle East?
No, Obama is totally weak. He's impotent. He cannot... we like to think that a former Prime Minister will agree with me here. Governments are not about good guys and bad guys. They're about power.
I was defending here Mr. McCain during the election campaign.
Oh dear.
Even worse.
Look, governments are about power and the use of power, and you will agree with this. Yes. Right. It's not about good guys and being nice. I went to Cairo to watch Obama make his famous hand reaching out to the Muslim world. There were problems in that speech. He talked about the relocation of the Palestinians in 1948. I mean, like the relocation of the Bosnians in the Serbian war, and I don't think that I do. But Obama, he cannot change the way in which power works in Washington, and he's not going to be able to. And why he has lent his name to the Afghan war is beyond me, because it is going to be a disaster. The right wing in America say, we call it the graveyard of empires. It's a cliche. It is a cliche.
What should he
do?
do?
It's true. Get out.
Get out of Afghanistan.
I've more and more, I've been 33 years in the Middle East now. By all means, we should send the Muslim world our doctors, our teachers, etc. But we're always going there and offering democracy and freedom when we're arriving with our tanks and our Abrams M1A1 tanks and our Bradley fighting armoured vehicles and our